that's the only pole on the other side of the South Pole from Little America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
If man uses the senses, which God has given him, he gains knowledge. If he uses them not, he remains ignorant. Are they to be bolstered up with absurdity and falsehood? Why, if it were possible to show the two ends of a 4-mile stretch of water to be on a level, with the center portion of that water bulged up, the surface of the earth would be a series of 4-mile curves. Now for the evidence of this grand fact, that other people may know it as well as you, remembering, from first to last, that you have not dared to bring forward a single item from the mass of evidence, which is to be found in the Zetetic philosophy, by parallax, a work the influence of which it was the avowed object of your own book to crush. Except that of the 3 boats, an experiment which you have never tried, and the result of which has never been known, by anyone who has tried it, to be as you say it is. The aeronaut can see for himself that Earth is a plane. The appearance presented to him, even at the highest elevation he has ever attained, is that of a concave surface, this being exactly what is to be expected of a surface that is truly level, since it is the nature of level surfaces to appear, to rise to a level, with the eye of the observer. This is ocular demonstration and proof that Earth is not a globe. Whenever experiments have been tried on the surface of standing water, this surface has always been found to be level. If the Earth were a globe, the surface of all standing water would be convex. This is an experimental proof that Earth is not a globe. Surveyors' operations in the construction of railroads, tunnels, or canals are conducted without the slightest allowance being made for curvature, although it is taught that this so-called allowance is absolutely necessary. This is a cutting proof that Earth is not a globe. There are rivers that flow for hundreds of miles towards the level of the sea without falling more than a few feet, notably the Nile, which, in 1,000 miles, falls but a foot. A level expanse of this extent is quite incompatible with the idea of the Earth's convexity. It is, therefore, a reasonable proof that Earth is not a globe. The lights, which are exhibited in lighthouses, are seen by navigators at distances at which, according to the scale of the supposed curvature given by astronomers, they ought to be many hundreds of feet, in some cases, down below the line of sight. For instance, the light at Cape Hatteras is seen at such a distance, about 40 miles, that, according to theory, it ought to be 900 feet higher above the level of the sea than it absolutely is, in order to be visible. This is a conclusive proof that there is no curvature on the surface of the sea, the level of the sea. Ridiculous though it is, to be under the necessity of proving it at all, but it is, nevertheless, a conclusive proof that the Earth is not a globe. If we stand on the sands of the seashore and watch a ship approach us, we shall find that she will apparently rise to the extent of her own height, nothing more. If we stand upon an eminence, the same law operates still. And it is but the law of perspective which causes objects, as they approach us, to appear to increase in size, until we see them, close to us, the size they are in fact. That there is no other rise than the one spoken of is plain from the fact that, no matter how high we ascend above the level of the sea, the horizon rises on and still on as we rise, so that it is always on a level with the eye, though it be 200 miles away, as seen by Mr. J. Glaisher of England, from Mr. Coxwell's balloon. So, that a ship 5 miles away may be imagined to be coming up the imaginary, downward curve of the Earth's surface, but, if we merely ascend a hill, such as Federal Hill, Baltimore, we may see 25 miles away, on a level with the eye, that is, 20 miles level distance beyond the ship that we vainly imagine to be rounding the curve and coming up. This is a plain proof that the Earth is not a globe. If we take a trip down the Chesapeake Bay in the daytime, we may see for ourselves the utter fallacy of the idea that when a vessel appears hull down, as it is called, it is because the hull is behind the water. 4. Vessels have been seen, and may often be seen again, presenting the appearance spoken of, and far away beyond those vessels, and, at the same moment, the level shoreline, with its accompanying complement of tall trees, towering up, in perspective, over the heads of the hull-down ships. Since, then, the idea will not stand its ground, when the facts rise up against it, and it is a piece of the popular theory, the theory is a contemptible piece of business, and we may easily wring from it a proof that Earth is not a globe. If the Earth were a globe, a small model globe would be the very best, because the truest thing for the navigator to take to sea with him. But such a thing as that is not known, with such a toy as a guide, the mariner would wreck his ship, of a certainty. This is a proof that Earth is not a globe. As mariners take to sea with them charts, constructed as though the sea were a level surface, however these charts may err, as to the true form of this level surface taken as a whole, it is clear, as they find them answer their purpose tolerably well, and only tolerably well, for many ships are right owing to the error of which we speak, that the surface of the sea is as it is taken to be, whether the captain of the ship supposes the Earth to be a globe or anything else. Thus, then, we draw, from the common system of plain sailing, a practical proof that Earth is not a globe. That the mariner's compass points north and south, at the same time, is a fact as indisputable as that 2 and 2 makes 4. But, that this would be impossible if the thing were placed on a globe, with north and south at the center of opposite hemispheres, is a fact that does not figure in the school books, though very easily seen, and it requires no lengthy train of reasoning to bring out of it a pointed proof that the Earth is not a globe. As the mariner's compass points north and south at one time, and as the north, to which it is attracted, is that part of the Earth situate where the North Star is in the zenith, it follows that there is no south point or pole but that, while the center is north, a vast circumference must be south in its whole extent. This is a proof that the Earth is not a globe. As we have seen, that there is, really, no south point, or pole, but an infinity of points forming, together, a vast circumference, the boundary of the known world, with its battlements of icebergs, which bid defiance to man's onward course in a southerly direction, so there can be no east or west points, just as there is no yesterday, and no tomorrow. In fact, as there is one point that is fixed, the north, it is impossible for any other point to be fixed likewise. East and west are, therefore, merely directions at right angles, with a north and south line, and as the south point of the compass shifts round to all parts of the circular boundary, as it may be carried round the central north, so the directions east and west, crossing this line, continued, form a circle, at any latitude. A westerly circumnavigation, therefore, is a going round with the North Star, continually on the right hand, and an easterly circumnavigation is performed only when the reverse condition of things is maintained, the North Star being on the left hand, as the journey is made. These facts, taken together, form a beautiful proof that the Earth is not a globe. As the mariner's compass points north and south at one and the same time, and a meridian is a north and south line, it follows that meridians can be no other than straight lines. But, since all meridians on a globe are semicircles, it is an incontrovertible proof that the Earth is not a globe. Parallels of latitude only, of all imaginary lines, on the surface of the Earth, are circles, which increase, progressively, from the northern center, to the southern circumference. The mariner's course in the direction of any one of these concentric circles, is his longitude, the degrees of which increase to such an extent beyond the equator, going southwards, that hundreds of vessels have been wrecked, because of the false idea created by the untruthfulness of the charts, and the globular theory together, causing the sailor to be continually getting out of his reckoning. With a map of the earth in its true form, all difficulty is done away with, and ships may be conducted anywhere with perfect safety. This, then, is a very important practical proof that the earth is not a globe. The idea that, instead of sailing horizontally round the earth, ships are taken down one side of a globe, then underneath, and are brought up on the other side to get home again, is, except as a mere dream, impossible and absurd. And, since there are neither impossibilities nor absurdities in the simple matter of circumnavigation, it stands, without argument, a proof that the earth is not a globe. And what then? What then? No intelligent man will ask the question. And he, who may be called an intellectual man, will know that the demonstration of the fact that the earth is not a globe is the grandest snapping of the chains of slavery that ever took place in the world of literature or science.
And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the slope from Little America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that